she found herself again. A Journey Back to Self-Worth. Written and published by Empower Me Audiobooks. Welcome to Empower Me Audiobooks. Whether you are here to grow, heal, or simply take a moment for yourself, we are so glad you are here. Let this journey be a reminder that you are strong, worthy, and never alone. Introduction. Somewhere deep inside you, something has been whispering, maybe softly, maybe with urgency, that you have lost a piece of yourself. Maybe you are feeling disconnected from your joy. Maybe you do not recognize the woman in the mirror anymore. Maybe you have been giving so much that there is nothing left for you. Whatever brought you here, I want you to know, this is your turning point. This is the beginning of your journey back home. Back to your truth, back to your softness, and back to your strength. In this audiobook, you will walk through the tender, beautiful process of finding yourself again. Not the version the world wants from you, but the one who is always there beneath the layers. The one who is worthy even when she is resting. The one who is allowed to say no without guilt. The one who is bold, wise, vulnerable, and real. This is not about becoming someone else. This is about remembering who you were before the world told you to shrink. So, get cozy. Let the noise of the day fade. Let your nervous system settle. Let your shoulders drop. This time is for you. Chapter 1. You are not broken. You may not realize it right now, but you are not broken. Even when everything feels like it is falling apart, you are not shattered. You are evolving. There are moments in life when it feels like you are drowning in invisible waves. You wake up tired even after a full night's sleep. You smile when someone asks how you are doing, but deep down, you feel the ache. That ache. That deep, unexplainable exhaustion. It is not weakness. It is the weight of years you have spent carrying emotions, expectations, and silent heartbreaks that were never yours to carry. You have survived so much already. The heartbreaks that left you wondering if love was ever meant for you. The friendships that faded without warning, the ones you thought would last forever. The times you gave and gave until there was nothing left for yourself. The moments you felt invisible in rooms full of people. You see, healing does not always look pretty. It is not yoga on a mountain or sipping tea in a bubble bath. Sometimes it is crying in the shower so no one hears you. It is saying no when you are used to saying yes. It is unfollowing people who trigger your insecurities. It is letting go of someone you love because your peace matters more than their presence. Healing is messy. Healing is quiet, but healing is holy. There is a version of you that is waiting. She is not perfect. She does not have it all figured out, but she is free. She laughs from her belly, not out of politeness, but because joy lives there again. She rests without guilt. She creates, she moves. She speaks without a doubt. And every time you choose yourself, every time you set a boundary, every time you honor your truth, you move closer to her. You were never meant to stay stuck in survival mode. You were not born just to function. Just to get through another day. You were meant to live. To expand. To stretch into the fullness of who you are. Your story is not meant to end in heartbreak or self-doubt. You write your own story and you are the author. Start looking at yourself through softer eyes. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to someone you love. Replace the harsh criticism with curiosity. When you catch yourself thinking, "Why am I like this?" ask instead, "What do I need right now?" That small shift, compassion over criticism, can change your life. It is okay to feel lost. Being lost is not the end. It is often the beginning. When everything familiar falls away, when you no longer recognize your own reflection, that is when something new is born. Being lost means you are on the edge of discovery. It means the old ways no longer work, and that is okay. That means growth is near. You do not have to have a 5-year plan. You do not need a perfectly curated life. You need honesty. You need to ask yourself, what do I truly want? What am I afraid to admit? What am I pretending to be okay with, just to keep the peace? Your soul does not want peace, keeping. Your soul wants peace, making. There is a difference. One is based on pretending, the other is built on truth. You are allowed to disrupt patterns that no longer serve you, even if they make others uncomfortable. You are allowed to become the woman you needed when you were younger. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait to be chosen. Choose yourself. Again and again. Not in arrogance but in reverence. You are valuable. Your boundaries are important. Your time, your energy, your heart. They all deserve protection. And if there is a voice in your head whispering, "But I have wasted so much time," please know this: nothing is wasted. Every detour taught you something. Every heartbreak cracked you open. Every delay was preparing you. Life is not a race. Healing is not linear. You are not late. You are right on time for your own journey. Somewhere along the way, you were taught to be small, to put others first, to smile and stay quiet. But that version of womanhood is not your destiny. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to be loud, bold, soft, emotional, fierce, kind, angry, joyful, whatever version of you is true today. Let yourself evolve. You do not have to be who you were last year. You do not have to keep habits that keep you stuck. You do not have to keep proving your worth to people who do not see it. You are not a project to be fixed. You are a soul to be honored. Today, give yourself permission to start again. Not because you are broken, not because you need fixing, but because you deserve more. You deserve softness. You deserve clarity. You deserve to walk into rooms and no longer shrink. This book is not here to give you all the answers. It is here to remind you that the answers are already inside you. They always have been. It is just that the world got loud. Other people's voices became louder than your own. But you can return. You can come home to yourself. You can learn to trust that quiet knowing again. Let us make a promise right now. Promise that no matter how slowly you move forward, you will not go back. You will not abandon yourself for approval. You will not shrink for love. You will not silence your needs just to make others comfortable. You will choose you. And I know that might feel scary. Choosing yourself when you have spent a lifetime people-pleasing is like walking barefoot on unfamiliar ground. It feels foreign. It feels selfish. But it is not. It is sacred. The world does not need more women who bend until they break. It needs more women who remember who they are. So, take a deep breath. Drop your shoulders. Soften your jaw. Feel your feet on the ground. You are here. You made it to this moment. That matters. And this is just the beginning. Chapter 2: The Art of Letting Go. Let's be honest. Letting go is one of the hardest things you will ever do. It is not just about releasing someone or something. It is about choosing yourself. Choosing peace over chaos. Truth over illusion. Growth over comfort. And sometimes, that means walking away from the things you once begged the universe to give you. You have probably held on longer than you should have. Maybe you stayed in relationships out of love, loyalty, or the fear of being alone. Maybe you tolerated friendships that drained you because you did not want to come off as selfish. Maybe you clung to old versions of yourself because they were familiar, even though they no longer reflected who you are or who you want to become. But here is the truth: you are not obligated to carry anything that weighs down your spirit. Just because something once mattered does not mean it still deserves a place in your life. Letting go does not make you cold. It does not mean you did not care. It means you care enough about your own heart, your sanity and energy. It means you have finally understood that some chapters have to close for new ones to begin. And yes, it hurts. You will miss people who were never really good to you. You will mourn the life you thought you were building. You will feel lost, angry, even betrayed. That is part of the process. Honor it. Let yourself feel it all. But do not let that pain trick you into believing you made the wrong decision. You did not. Growth often feels like grief. Because when you finally choose yourself, you have to let go of every version of you that did not. Let go of who you were. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to evolve, even if it makes others uncomfortable. You do not have to stay small to keep others at ease. You are not here to be palatable. You are here to be real, raw, whole. Sometimes, the biggest thing holding you back is the version of you that stayed silent, people-pleasing, accepted less than you deserve, and hid your brilliance to avoid rocking the boat. That version got you this far. But now it is time to thank her, and release her. You are no longer her. You no longer need to dim your light to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You no longer have to twist yourself into a version someone else finds more lovable. There is so much power in releasing outdated versions of yourself. It opens space for the woman you are becoming, confident, authentic, and unapologetic. This is not about perfection. It is about alignment. It is about finally honoring your truth. Even when it is messy. Even when it scares people. Even when it scares you. Let go of who they wanted you to be. Maybe you were always the fixer, the caretaker, the strong one, the reliable one, the one who never asked for much. Maybe you wore those titles like armor, and maybe that armor is now suffocating you. You do not owe anyone the version of you that made them comfortable. You are not here to fulfill anyone else's narrative. You are not here to live out your parents' expectations, your friends' ideals, or society's timelines. You are here to write your own story. You are here to decide what success, happiness, and love look like for you. So if that means letting go of relationships that only thrive when you abandon yourself, let them go. If it means walking away from careers, communities, or roles that make you feel invisible, walk away. You are not selfish for wanting more. You are not difficult to demand respect. You are not ungrateful for choosing something different. You are healing. And healing requires boundaries. It requires honesty. And sometimes it requires cutting cords that have been tangled around your heart for far too long. Let go of the timeline. Stop punishing yourself for not being further ahead. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Learning what you need to learn. Life is not a race. There is no gold medal for marrying by 30. Buying a house by 35, or having the perfect job by 40. There is no deadline for healing. No expiration date on dreams. You are allowed to pivot, to pause, to change your mind. You are allowed to begin again at any moment, even if others do not understand it. Let go of the timeline you have been forcing yourself to follow. Your life is not a checklist, it is a sacred journey. And your pace is perfect. You are not too late for anything that is meant for you. Let go of the apologies. You have spent so much time apologizing for who you are, for your emotions, for your voice, for your needs, for your presence. And maybe no one taught you that your existence does not require explanation. Stop saying sorry for taking up space. Stop shrinking when you should be expanding. Stop tiptoeing through life, trying not to offend. Start owning your story, your voice, your truth. Even if it shakes when you speak it. You do not have to explain why you left, why you stopped calling, why you chose peace, why you said no. You owe no one a justification for healing. Letting go often requires silence, not out of pettiness, but out of protection. Protect your energy. Protect your peace. Not everyone is meant to understand your growth, and that is okay. Let go with love, not bitterness. It is easy to let go in anger, to shut doors with slammed hearts and sharp tongues. But there is something sacred in letting go with grace. You do not have to hate them to walk away. You do not have to burn every bridge to choose a new path. You can release with love, with gratitude, with peace. Thank the people who taught you hard lessons. Thank the heartbreak that cracked you open. Thank the situations that forced you to see your worth. Then, let it all go. Gently. Because holding on to bitterness does not make you strong. It keeps you tethered. It keeps you wounded. Real strength is soft. It is choosing peace over revenge. It is choosing healing over validation. It is choosing your future over your past. A new chapter begins. Letting go is not the end. It is the beginning. Every time you release something that no longer serves you, you create room for something better. You create space for alignment, for joy, for love that does not come with conditions. You begin to feel lighter, clearer, more in tune with yourself. So do not fear the endings. Embrace them. Celebrate them. Chapter 3. Let go to grow. You have held on for so long, right? To the version of you that was built on survival. The one who smiled through discomfort, swallowed your truth, stayed quiet to keep the peace, and clung tightly to things long after they stopped serving you. You wore masks so well you almost believed they were your real face. But deep down, you knew. You always knew. There comes a moment, an unmistakable, soul-shaking moment, when you realize that the person you have been pretending to be cannot take you where your soul longs to go. That moment is terrifying and liberating all at once. It is the beginning of the unraveling. And it is the only way to truly begin again. This is your invitation to let go. Let go of the expectations that were never yours to carry. Let go of the weight of other people's opinions. Let go of the outdated definitions of success, love, beauty, and strength that were never rooted in your truth. Because growth is not just about adding things in. It is about releasing what no longer fits. Let go of the old story. You have told yourself stories for years. I am not good enough. I always mess things up. I will never be truly loved. People always leave. I have to work twice as hard to earn love or attention. Those stories may have started in childhood or from a moment of deep hurt. But just because they have lived in your mind for years does not mean they belong there forever. You are allowed to rewrite your narrative. It begins with awareness. Notice when those old scripts play on repeat in your mind. Catch the self-blame, the fear of abandonment, the constant need to prove yourself. Then pause. Breathe. Remind yourself, this story does not define me. I get to choose a new one. Ask yourself, what stories am I still holding on to that no longer serve me? Whose voice am I hearing when I doubt myself? What truths do I want to believe instead? Your healing starts with letting go of lies you have believed about yourself. Let go of people who drain you. Not everyone who started the journey with you is meant to finish it beside you. Some people entered your life during your wounded seasons. They were mirrors to your insecurities, your people-pleasing and your silence. You gave, and maybe they took and took. You stayed because you feared being alone more than being misunderstood. But now you are different. You are awakening. And with growth comes clarity. You begin to notice which relationships feel like home and which feel like cages. You realize that peace is not just a concept, it is a choice. And you do not have to earn love by shrinking yourself or walking on eggshells. You do not have to explain your healing to people committed to misunderstanding you. You do not have to keep proving your worth to those who only see you through their own wounds. Let them go. With love if you can, but with firmness always. Grieving their absence does not mean you made the wrong choice. It means you are human. It means you cared. But do not let guilt keep you tied to patterns you have outgrown. Trust that by releasing them, you create space for deeper, more aligned connections. Let go of control. You have been trying to hold it all together. Planning every step, preparing for every possibility. Guarding your heart from disappointment. Maybe control felt safe. Maybe it gave you the illusion that if you just worked hard enough, nothing could hurt you. But life is not built on guarantees. It is built on presence. Control is rooted in fear. Trust is rooted in surrender. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means loosening your grip on what you cannot change and placing your energy where it truly matters, on your intentions and choices. Repeat to yourself, I release the need to control outcomes. I trust myself to handle whatever comes. I am safe to surrender. You are not here to micromanage your way into happiness. You are here to live, to feel, to grow, to trust that even the detours have purpose. Let go of the need to be fixed. You are not broken. Let that sink in. The world may have taught you to focus on your flaws, to obsess over what you lack, to view yourself as a project to fix instead of a soul to love. But healing is not about perfection, it is about integration. It is about wholeness. Every scar, every heartbreak, every misstep. It is all part of your becoming. Instead of asking, what is wrong with me? Try asking, what do I need to feel more whole? Sometimes it is rest. Sometimes it is a boundary. Sometimes it is allowing yourself to cry. Sometimes it is letting yourself be seen without a mask. But it is never about shame. Never about hustle. Never about proving your worth. Let go of the idea that you will be lovable after you have healed. You are worthy now. Let go of the timeline. You thought you would be further by now, married by now, happier by now, healed by now. You measure your life against invisible timelines society created, and feel like you are falling behind. But you are not behind. You are on your path. Growth does not follow a schedule. Healing does not run on a deadline. You are right where you need to be. Learning exactly what your soul came here to learn. Stop rushing the process. Ask yourself, what if this moment is preparing me in ways I cannot yet see? What if my detour is my direction? What if timing is not against me but protecting me? Let go of the pressure to be perfect right now. Let go of the fear of being seen. You have spent years hiding the most tender parts of you. The truth. The desire. The rage. The softness. You have been taught that vulnerability is weakness. That showing emotion is too much. That expressing needs is selfish. But real connection begins where pretense ends. When you start to show up fully in your messy, radiant, authentic truth, you create space for others to do the same. That is when the right people will find you. Not the ones drawn to your mask, but the ones drawn to your heart. Let go of the fear that being real will make you unlovable. The truth is, being real is what will set you free. You do not have to be fearless. You just have to be willing. Let go to reclaim your power. Every time you release something that once defined you, a belief, a relationship, a fear, you reclaim a part of yourself. You make room for your own voice, your own rhythm, your own joy. Letting go is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the clearing of the clutter so you can see yourself clearly. It is the gentle but fierce decision to stop carrying what was never yours. And to walk forward, lighter, freer, more whole. This chapter of your life is not about chasing anything outside of you. It is about coming home. To your truth. To your power. To your peace. To the version of you that has always been waiting underneath the noise. Let go, beautiful soul. You are allowed to begin again. Chapter 4. You are not who they told you to be. You've lived for others long enough. You were molded by the expectations of your parents, your culture, your friends, your lovers, your job. You've been the daughter who never talks back, the partner who sacrifices too much, the employee who stays silent in the face of unfair treatment. You followed rules you didn't write and played roles you never chose. But here is the truth. You are not who they told you to be. And it is time to break the mold. The silent shaping of your identity. It started early in your childhood. Maybe you were told to be a good girl, to be polite. Smile even when you were uncomfortable, help others even when you were exhausted. Maybe you were praised for being quiet, agreeable, and obedient. Slowly, you began to equate being loved with being small, with being easy to handle. You didn't even notice it happening. You internalized beliefs like, I have to be liked. I shouldn't upset anyone. I am only valuable when I am useful. I have to earn love. You didn't ask for these rules. But they became your script. Now it is time to unlearn them. What they told you versus what's true. They told you, you were too sensitive. But your sensitivity is your superpower. It connects you to others deeply. It makes you intuitive, compassionate, and emotionally intelligent. They told you, you were too much. But they just weren't prepared to handle someone with your fire. Your depth. Your light. They told you, you should be grateful for the bare minimum. But you are worthy of abundance, in love, respect, opportunities, and peace. They told you, you were selfish for saying no. But boundaries are not selfish. Boundaries are sacred. And maybe they never said it out loud. But they made you feel like your needs were a burden. That your voice wasn't welcome. That shrinking yourself was the way to survive. It is not. Rewriting your story starts now. You get to define who you are. Not your mother. Not your ex. Not your past. Not your trauma. You. This is the chapter where you reclaim your identity. Where you look in the mirror and start seeing the real you, not the version others edited. And here is how you do it. Step 1. Name the roles you've been playing. Make a list. Write down every identity you've been forced or conditioned to embody. The people pleaser. The peacekeeper. The overachiever. The caretaker. The strong one. The cool girl. The quiet one. Now ask yourself, did I choose this role, or did I inherit it? You'll probably find that many of these identities were given to you, not earned or wanted. And once you name them, you can start to release them. You don't owe anyone a version of yourself that costs you your peace. Step 2. Reconnect with the forgotten you. Beneath all those layers is a version of you that existed before the world told you who to be. Maybe she was bold. Maybe she loved to sing, dance, write, or dream. Maybe she was playful, funny, silly, free. Who were you before you were told to grow up? Let's find her again. Try this journal prompt. If no one expected anything of me, who would I be? Write freely. Don't censor yourself. Would you move to a new city? Start your own business? Rest more? Say no, more. Laugh louder. Love differently? Let that version of you speak. She's not gone. She's just been waiting. Step 3. Embrace the grief of letting go. Reclaiming yourself isn't just empowering, it is emotional. You may feel grief because you are letting go of identities that kept you safe. You are mourning versions of yourself that helped you survive. That's okay. That's necessary. You might even feel guilt for changing. Some people will resist your transformation. They liked you better when you were easy to control, easy to predict, and easy to dismiss. Let them go. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. You don't exist to keep others comfortable while you suffer in silence. Step 4. Set fire to old narratives. You've probably told yourself 1,000 times, I am not enough. I don't want to disappoint anyone. I should be doing more. Who do I think I am? These thoughts aren't facts, they're echoes. Echoes of conditioning. Of past wounds, of other people's fears projected onto you. You are not a reflection of their limitations. You are allowed to rewrite the script. You can say, I am more than enough exactly as I am. It is safe to put myself first. I don't need to earn rest. I am not here to be small. I am here to be free. Say it again and again. Until it becomes your new truth. Step 5. Make peace with the woman you are becoming. As you shed these old identities, a new you will begin to rise, stronger, softer, wiser, and braver. And she might feel unfamiliar at first. That's normal. You are not going backwards. You are not lost. You are growing into the woman you were always meant to be. So give her grace. Celebrate her small steps, even the quiet ones, saying no without guilt. Speaking up, even if your voice shakes. Leaving a text unanswered because you needed rest. Choosing peace over approval. This is what self-worth looks like in motion. Daily reminders as you reclaim yourself. Keep these close as you grow. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your healing. Not everyone will understand your growth, and that's okay. Your needs are not negotiable. Your worth is not tied to how productive, perfect, or pleasing you are. You are allowed to change, especially if it makes others uncomfortable. Your power is in your presence. Here is what they didn't tell you. You are powerful simply by existing as your full self. You don't need a title, a role, or permission. Your authenticity is your rebellion. Your softness is your strength. Your truth is your liberation. When you stop performing and start being, you give others permission to do the same. You become a mirror of what's possible. A walking reminder that being real is more beautiful than being perfect. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just need to be. The most important question, from this moment forward, start asking yourself one simple, life-changing question every day. Is this version of me making me feel alive? If the answer is no, pause. Redirect. Recenter. You are not here to survive someone else's idea of who you should be. You are here to live boldly as yourself. Journal prompts to explore your true self. Use these prompts to deepen your reflection. 1. What labels or roles have I outgrown? 2. What beliefs about myself no longer feel true? 3. Who am I when I am alone, without performance? 4. What parts of myself have I been hiding to fit in? 5. What does freedom feel like in my body? 6. What would I do differently if I fully believed I was enough? Give yourself time and space to answer them. Honestly, your truth is sacred. Closing reflection. You are not broken. You were never broken. You were simply buried beneath expectations, fear, and old stories. But now, the layers are falling away. The mask is coming off. The real you is emerging. She's not too much. She's just been waiting to be seen. So take up space. Speak louder. Rest deeper. Love stronger. Be who you were before the world told you to be someone else. Because that version of you, she's amazing, and she's coming home. Chapter 5. Rebuilding from the rubble. There comes a moment, quiet, lonely, and profoundly honest, when you look around and realize your life no longer looks like the one you planned. The version you built in your mind has crumbled. It might have fallen apart slowly, piece by piece, or maybe it all shattered at once. Either way, here you are, staring at the rubble, the ashes of a life you thought was yours. This moment isn't the end. It's the beginning of you rebuilding. The art of starting over. Starting over doesn't begin with action. It begins with awareness. Before you can change your life, you have to acknowledge the version of yourself that no longer fits. It's painful. You might have clung to that identity because it was familiar, even if it hurt you. You might have stayed in relationships, jobs, or places that didn't nourish you because they felt safe. But here is the truth. Safety is not always healing. Familiarity is not always freedom. To rebuild, you first need to stop romanticizing what broke you. That old version of your life wasn't a waste. But it also wasn't meant to last forever. You are allowed to grieve it. You are allowed to sit in the ache of everything you've lost. You are allowed to cry for the person you were. The person who tolerated too much, stayed too long, or never felt seen. But after grieving, you are invited to begin again. Let go to rise. The truth is, not everything that falls apart needs to be pieced back together. Some things break so you can finally build something better. Maybe that relationship had to end so you could come back home to yourself. Maybe that career failure was redirecting you to your purpose. Maybe that betrayal cracked open a space where your real power could finally come alive. It might not make sense yet. It might not feel fair. But the universe has a strange way of clearing out what you no longer need, even if you didn't ask for it. Letting go doesn't mean pretending it didn't matter. It means making peace with what can't be changed, and choosing not to carry the pain forward. You deserve to walk into your future without dragging the ghosts of your past behind you. You cannot fully receive what's meant for you if your hands are still clenched around what hurt you. So loosen your grip. Trust the process. Even if you don't know where you are going next, it's enough to just know you are not going back. Rewriting your beliefs. As you rebuild, you must examine the foundation beneath it all. Your beliefs. What do you believe about yourself? About love? About your worth? About what's possible? Most of us carry beliefs we didn't consciously choose. Maybe they came from your parents, teachers, religion, culture, or old heartbreaks. You might believe you're too much or not enough. You might think love always has to hurt or that success comes only through struggle. These beliefs quietly shape your choices, attract certain people, and limit your potential. But here is the good news: beliefs are not facts. They can be rewritten. Ask yourself, what do I believe about love, and who taught me that? What do I believe about failure, and do I want to keep believing that? What beliefs have kept me small? What would I do if I believed I was worthy? Your rebuilding begins with new truths. With a voice that says, I don't have to stay here. I don't have to be who I used to be. I get to change. You get to rebuild from a place of wholeness. Not because you are broken, but because you are evolving. The power of the present moment. The mind loves to wander, to replay the past or worry about the future. But when you are rebuilding, the most powerful place to live is right here in the now. This moment is your starting line. Not tomorrow. Not when you've healed perfectly. Not when someone else validates your worth. Now, your healing isn't waiting for permission. It begins with the tiniest decisions: waking up and choosing to breathe deeply, drinking water and moving your body, Saying no when your body tenses and yes when your soul opens. Letting yourself rest. Journaling your pain instead of suppressing it. Speaking kindly to the mirror, even when it feels silly. These aren't small acts. They're bricks in the foundation of your new life. You don't need to have it all figured out. Just ask yourself each day, what does the healed version of me need today? And then give her that. Reclaiming your voice. When your world falls apart, it's easy to forget how powerful your voice is. Maybe you were silenced for too long. Maybe someone else's opinions drowned out your own. Maybe you've been so busy pleasing others that you forgot what you actually want. This chapter of your life asks you to remember, speak up for yourself. Even if your voice shakes. Even if no one agrees. You don't owe anyone's silence to make them comfortable. You don't have to shrink to keep the peace. Use your voice to set boundaries. To say, that doesn't work for me anymore. To declare your desires out loud. To say no. To ask for help. To speak love over yourself when the world feels cold. You have a right to be heard, not just by others, but by yourself. Listen to your needs. Honor your feelings. Speak the truth, even when it's messy. Because every time you do, you call yourself back home. Creating a vision. Even when you are still hurting. It's okay if you don't have a 10-year plan. You don't need to know exactly where you are going. To know that you are going somewhere better. But it helps to create a small, clear vision. Ask yourself, what kind of woman am I becoming? How does she speak? Move, rest, and love. What does she tolerate and what does she no longer allow? What lights her up? What makes her feel powerful? Then, start living in alignment with her, even in small ways. You don't have to wait to be her. You become her, by showing up like her now. Buy the flowers. Wear the outfit. Write the book. Apply for the new job. Take the walk. Set the boundary. Turn off your phone. Cook the nourishing meal. Read the book. Say the prayer. Dance, rest, and laugh. You are becoming her with every choice. This is the essence of rebuilding, creating a new life that reflects the truth of who you are, not the version you were told to be, or the one who played it safe. Moving through loneliness. Rebuilding often comes with loneliness. You might feel isolated, especially if your healing journey has required letting go of certain people. This is where you learn how to be with yourself again, how to enjoy your own company, how to feel whole without external validation. Loneliness is not a punishment. It's a gift. Use this time to reconnect with your essence. Revisit old hobbies. Sit in silence. Write letters to your younger self. Cry when you need to. Take solo walks. Speak affirmations aloud. Take yourself on dates. Listen to music that makes you feel alive. Return to rituals that ground you. This is where you remember that your own presence is enough. And when you no longer fear being alone, you'll never again settle for anything that dims your light. Allow joy back in. Joy can feel foreign after deep pain. You might even feel guilty for smiling, laughing, or dancing again, as if healing means forgetting what hurt you. But joy is not betrayal. It's resurrection. You are not meant to stay in survival mode forever. You are allowed to come back to life. Let the light in again. Let yourself be surprised. Let yourself dream. Let yourself feel the sun on your skin and actually savor it. Let yourself laugh so hard, it feels like medicine. Rebuilding isn't just about fixing what broke. It's about rediscovering the beauty that still exists. It's about realizing that even after the worst heartbreak, you can still feel wonder. That your heart can expand again, maybe even wider than before. Joy is your power. Don't deny yourself of it. Give yourself credit. You are doing the work, even if no one sees it. Even if you cry yourself to sleep. Even if some days you are just surviving. You are showing up. You are unlearning. You are choosing better. That's not nothing. That's everything. Celebrate the fact that you are here and willing to grow. Celebrate that you've already left behind what no longer serves you, that you are building a new life from the inside out. You might not see it yet, but your strength is showing. Your power is rising. Keep going. Chapter 6, Boundaries. The cornerstone of self-worth. Boundaries are one of the clearest indicators of self-worth. When you understand your value, you naturally establish boundaries that safeguard your time, energy, and emotional well-being. Without them, you can feel drained, resentful, or taken advantage of. And over time, this erodes not just your happiness but your sense of self. Think of boundaries as the frame around a beautiful painting. The frame doesn't hide or diminish the art. It protects it, keeps it intact, and ensures it's displayed in the best possible way. Your life is the art. Your boundaries are the frame. In this chapter, we will explore why boundaries are essential, the different types, how to recognize when yours are being crossed, and the step-by-step process to set them with clarity and confidence. Why boundaries are a reflection of self-worth. If you've ever said yes when you wanted to say no, you've experienced what it feels like to ignore your own boundaries. Every time you do that, you send yourself a subtle but powerful message. My needs matter less than theirs. Over time, that belief chips away at your self-worth. Healthy boundaries send the opposite message. They say, I am valuable. I am worth protecting. My time and energy are important. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about creating a healthy space where respect and authenticity can thrive. When you begin to see boundaries as an act of self-love, rather than confrontation, setting them becomes a natural extension of caring for yourself. The 5 types of boundaries. 1. Physical boundaries. These protect your body, personal space, and privacy. Examples include not wanting to be touched without consent or choosing who enters your home. 2. Emotional boundaries. These safeguard your feelings and emotional energy. They involve knowing when to share and when to hold back and refusing to take on other people's emotional burdens as your own. 3. Time boundaries. These protect your schedule and prevent overcommitment. They help you say no to things that drain you and yes to what truly matters. 4. Mental boundaries. These protect your thoughts, values, and beliefs. They mean respecting differences of opinion without allowing others to belittle or manipulate your perspective. 5. Material boundaries. These involve how you share your possessions, money, or resources. It's knowing when and how much you are willing to lend or give without resentment. When all 5 are honored, you create a balanced, respectful environment for yourself and your relationships. Signs your boundaries are weak. Sometimes, people don't realize they have weak or non-existent boundaries because they've been living that way for so long. Here are common signs. You often feel resentful after doing something for someone. You have a hard time saying no even when you are exhausted. You feel responsible for other people's happiness. You regularly cancel your own plans to accommodate others. You avoid conflict at all costs even if it means sacrificing your needs. You feel guilty for taking time for yourself. Recognizing these signs is the first step toward change. You can't fix what you can't see. Why people struggle to set boundaries. There are many reasons why setting boundaries can feel challenging. For some, it's a fear of rejection. For others, it's people-pleasing tendencies rooted in childhood, where love felt conditional on compliance. Here are a few common obstacles. 1. Fear of conflict. You worry the other person will get upset or leave. 2. Guilt. You feel selfish for putting yourself first. 3. Low self-esteem. You believe your needs are less important than others. 4. Conditioning. You grew up in an environment where boundaries were not respected. 5. Over-identification. You've tied your self-worth to being helpful or agreeable. Understanding why you struggle is key to overcoming it. Boundaries are a skill, and like any skill, they can be learned and strengthened with practice. How to set boundaries without guilt. The good news is that you can begin setting boundaries today. Even if it feels uncomfortable at first, here is a step-by-step approach. Identify your limits. Start by noticing where you feel discomfort, resentment, or exhaustion. These emotions are signals that your boundaries are being crossed. Ask yourself, what situations leave me feeling drained? Who do I feel tense or anxious around? When do I say yes, but wish I'd said no? 2. Get clear on your values. Your boundaries should reflect what matters most to you, your time, energy, relationships, and priorities. For example, if family time is a top value, you might set boundaries around work calls during dinner. 3. Communicate clearly and directly. Boundaries work best when they're expressed in simple, direct language. You don't need to over-explain or apologize. For example, I am not available to talk after 9 p.m. I can't lend money, but I can help you brainstorm solutions. Please don't comment on my body. 4. Be consistent. People learn how to treat you based on what you tolerate. If you set a boundary but let it slide repeatedly, it sends a mixed message. 5. Practice self-compassion. You will feel discomfort at first, especially if you are used to putting others first. That's normal. Remind yourself, it's okay to protect my peace. My needs matter. How to handle pushback. Not everyone will celebrate your new boundaries. Those who benefited from your lack of boundaries may resist the change. They might try to guilt trip you, become distant or silent, accuse you of being selfish. Test the limits you've set. Remember, their reaction is not a sign that you are wrong. It's a sign that the boundary is necessary. Stand firm. You can acknowledge their feelings without changing your stance. For example, I understand this is disappointing, but my decision stands. I hear you and I still need to stick to what feels right for me. Over time, the people who respect you will adjust. Those who don't may fade away, and while that can feel like a loss, it's making space for healthier relationships. Boundaries and self-respect. Every time you honor a boundary, you reinforce your self-respect. You prove to yourself that your needs are worth protecting. Your voice is worth hearing and your life is worth living on your terms. Boundaries are not about control. They're about freedom. The freedom to choose how you spend your time. The freedom to protect your energy. The freedom to say yes to what lights you up and no to what dims your light. Practical boundary scripts. To make this more tangible, here are some examples of boundary-setting language you can use in everyday situations when declining an invitation. Thank you for thinking of me, but I am not available. When ending an uncomfortable conversation, I am not comfortable discussing this topic. Let's change the subject. When someone calls at inconvenient times, I can't talk right now. Let's set a time that works for both of us. When someone asks for too much of your time, I don't have the bandwidth for that right now. These phrases are short, respectful, and to the point. No over-explaining required. The link between boundaries and healing. For many people, poor boundaries are rooted in past wounds. Times when their needs were ignored, dismissed, or punished. Learning to set boundaries can be deeply healing because it allows you to reclaim your voice. Each boundary you set says, I will not abandon myself to please you. I have the right to protect my peace. I choose relationships built on mutual respect. Boundaries are not just rules for others. They are promises to yourself. A boundary setting challenge. Here is a 7-day practice to strengthen your boundary muscle. Day 1. Identify one area where you feel resentment. Write it down. Day 2. Decide what boundary could prevent that resentment in the future. Day 3. Practice saying the boundary out loud in a mirror. Day 4. Communicate that boundary to one person. Day 5. Notice how you feel afterward, proud, relieved, anxious, and write it down. Day 6. Reinforce the boundary if it's tested. Day 7. Reflect on how honoring your needs changed your week. The goal isn't to set dozens of boundaries at once. Start small, build confidence, and expand from there. Boundaries are not walls. They're bridges that allow you to connect with others in a way that feels safe, respectful, and nourishing. They are one of the purest expressions of self-worth. Because they declare, without apology, that you value your peace, your time, and your well-being. Every time you honor your boundaries, you are telling yourself, I matter. I am worthy. I am enough. And the truth is, you always have been. Chapter 7. Choosing peace over chaos. There comes a point in every woman's life when she grows tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep can cure, but a soul-deep exhaustion. A weariness that comes from carrying too much for too long. That's when she realizes she is allowed to choose peace. She is allowed to set down what was never hers to carry and walk away from the noise. The guilt and the endless striving. This chapter is about that choice. The brave, radical, beautiful decision to stop participating in chaos and to begin protecting her peace. Like it's the most sacred thing she owns, because it is. The slow realization. It doesn't happen overnight. For most women, the realization creeps in slowly, like the first morning light after a stormy night. She starts to notice how drained she feels after certain conversations. How some environments leave her anxious and disoriented. How she overcommits, over-apologizes, overfunctions. How she bends to make others comfortable while abandoning her own needs. She begins to ask herself, why am I so used to discomfort? Who taught me that I must tolerate chaos to feel loved? Why do I feel guilty when I say no? And maybe for the first time she stops to hear the answer. Because she was raised to be agreeable. Because she learned that pleasing others was a form of safety. Because peace felt selfish when everyone else was falling apart. But here is what she learns next. Peace is not selfish. It's sacred. And it is her birthright. Unlearning the addiction to chaos. Many of us mistake chaos for passion, drama for connection. Unpredictability for excitement. We were conditioned in homes where emotional roller coasters were normal, where love came with sharp edges, where safety was always just out of reach. So when things are calm, we feel uneasy. We stir the pot. We invite in chaos, not because we want to suffer, but because it feels familiar. Choosing peace means unlearning all of that. It means recognizing the patterns, the relationships that drain more than they give. The jobs that overwork and underappreciate. The constant multitasking that keeps us from being present. The scrolling, comparing, worrying that eats away at our joy. And then gently, without drama, choosing to do things differently. Peace isn't found by escaping life. It's found by meeting life with a quiet, grounded heart. Letting go of what doesn't serve. The hardest part of choosing peace is letting go. Not just of people or jobs or commitments, but of identities. Of old versions of ourselves. Maybe she was the helper, the fixer, the strong one, the achiever, the self-sacrificing friend, the woman who always said yes. Letting go of those roles can feel like grief, like a death to us. But in that space, something new is born, a woman who belongs to herself. Who no longer needs to prove her worth through exhaustion, who doesn't chase, beg, or convince. Who doesn't confuse chaos for love. Letting go is an act of self-respect. And peace is the reward. Peace is a practice, not a place. Peace doesn't mean life is always calm. It doesn't mean bad things never happen or hard emotions don't show up. It means she no longer invites drama in. She doesn't go looking for it, doesn't feed it. Doesn't let it live rent-free in her mind. It's a practice. She breathes before reacting. She asks herself if something is hers to fix. She protects her energy like it's her home because it is. She learns to say, this is not mine to carry. She learns to leave text messages unanswered when they carry the tone of manipulation. She walks away from arguments designed to bait her. She stops over-explaining herself to people who have already decided who she is. She becomes fluent in silence. Fluent in boundaries. Fluent in inner peace. Boundaries, the gates of peace. Boundaries are not walls. They are bridges to self-trust. They are how we protect our time, energy, body, and spirit. For too long, women have been told that boundaries are rude, that they make us cold or selfish. But truthfully, boundaries are an act of love, to ourselves and to others. A woman with boundaries is a woman who knows her worth. She doesn't overcommit to avoid guilt. She doesn't tolerate disrespect because of history. She doesn't stay in conversations that hurt her spirit. She doesn't shrink to make others more comfortable. She has learned to say, no, I am not available for that. I understand you feel that way, but I am making a different choice. I wish you well, but I need distance. And she doesn't owe anyone a justification for protecting her peace. Creating a peaceful inner world. External peace begins within. A woman can be in the busiest city with a full calendar and loud surroundings, and still carry a sense of peace that radiates from her soul. How? Because she has made peace her home. She has stopped arguing with reality. She has stopped picking herself apart. She has befriended her thoughts. She has softened her self-talk. She no longer punishes herself with shoulds and not enoughs. Instead, she speaks to herself the way she would to a beloved child. She says, I am doing my best, and that's enough. I don't have to earn rest. I am allowed to be soft. Even in a hard world, she slows down. She savors her morning coffee. She steps outside barefoot. She lights a candle at night and breathes deeply. Not because it's trendy, but because she has decided to treat her life like something sacred. That is peace. Rebuilding her life around peace. As she grows in peace, her life starts to change. Not in loud dramatic ways, but in small, steady shifts. She starts waking up and feeling light. She looks around and notices how little drama remains. Her friendships feel nourishing, not obligatory. Her home feels like a sanctuary. Her days feel intentional, not reactive. Peace becomes her compass. She no longer chooses people who exhaust her. She no longer says yes when she means no. She no longer explains herself to those committed to misunderstanding her. She builds a life that doesn't need a vacation to feel good. A life that reflects her healing. And when things go wrong, and they will, she doesn't spiral, she doesn't crumble, she returns to herself. She breathes. She rests. She waits for clarity. She knows chaos is not a home she lives in anymore. It may knock, but she doesn't answer. Peace in relationships. Choosing peace sometimes means losing people who were only comfortable with the chaotic version of her. The one who never said no. The one who accepted breadcrumbs. The one who didn't know how to ask for what she needed. And that loss hurts. But what replaces it is better. Relationships built on truth, respect, calm, and reciprocity. She begins to experience love that doesn't make her anxious. Friendship that doesn't drain her. Support that feels mutual, not one-sided. She doesn't have to earn anyone's love anymore. She only accepts love that doesn't cost her her peace. And in doing so, she teaches others how to love her, and themselves, better. Reclaiming her energy. Energy is life force. And when it's constantly leaking, to drama, overthinking, people, pleasing, fixing, controlling, there is none left for joy, creativity, and rest. Choosing peace means reclaiming that energy. She starts to notice what makes her feel alive, what restores her spirit, what depletes her joy, and she realigns her life accordingly. No more scrolling past bedtime, no more engaging in gossip, no more trying to prove her worth through overachieving. She now knows that her energy is currency, and she spends it wisely. Living peacefully, not perfectly. Peace is not perfection. There will still be tough days. There will still be messes, misunderstandings, moments of frustration. But now, she moves through them with grace. She doesn't spiral. She doesn't overreact. She rests, reflects, returns to herself. She no longer fights every battle. She chooses her peace over being right. She lets people be wrong about her if it means protecting her spirit. And over time, this becomes her superpower, the ability to live in this world, but not be consumed by its noise. In her journey to peace, she didn't become cold. She became clear. She didn't become selfish. She became sovereign. She didn't lose herself. She finally came home. This is what happens when a woman stops choosing chaos and starts choosing herself. She finds herself. And she finds peace. Chapter 8. Creating your new self-worth blueprint. Self-worth is not something we stumble upon by accident. It's something we consciously build layer by layer. Like the foundation of a strong and beautiful home. If we have been living in a house built on shaky ground, self-doubt, people-pleasing, perfectionism, and old wounds, then it's time to draw up a new blueprint. Think of this chapter as your renovation plan for your inner life. You are not tearing yourself down. You are rebuilding stronger. While honoring every lesson and scar that got you here. Why you need a blueprint. When you don't have a clear plan for your self-worth, the outside world will gladly hand you one. But theirs is often filled with toxic instructions. Your value depends on your looks. You are only lovable if you are perfect. You must earn your worth by overworking and overgiving. If you've been following these plans, you've probably noticed they lead to exhaustion, emptiness, and resentment. Your new self-worth blueprint, replaces those external scripts with internal truths, ones you design for yourself. Step 1. Demolish the old beliefs. Renovations begin with demolition. That doesn't mean destroying yourself. It means clearing out what's not serving you. Ask yourself which beliefs about my worth feel heavy and draining. Where did they come from? Family, culture, relationships, or past experiences? Are they actually true, or are they outdated rules? For example, if you've been told since childhood that speaking up makes you difficult, that's not truth, it's conditioning. The demolition process is not always comfortable. You might feel guilt, sadness, or even fear as you let these beliefs go. But remember, you are not removing your identity. You are removing the walls that kept you small. Step 2. Lay a new foundation. A strong self-worth foundation rests on core values. They are your non-negotiables for how you live and treat yourself. Some examples: respect. I speak kindly to myself and allow others to treat me with dignity. Honesty, I am truthful about my feelings, needs, and boundaries. Compassion. I forgive my own mistakes as I would forgive a dear friend. Growth, I am willing to learn and change without shaming myself. Write down your top 5 values. These will guide your decisions, relationships, and the way you speak to yourself. Step 3. Reframe your inner dialogue. The voice in your head is your most constant companion. If it's harsh, critical, or dismissive, it will erode your self-worth over time. But here is the truth: that voice can be rewired. Old script. I messed up again. I am so stupid. New blueprint. I made a mistake. I can learn from this and do better next time. Old script. No one will want me if I am not perfect. New blueprint. I am worthy of love and belonging as I am. Notice, the new blueprint isn't about fake positivity. It's about truth without cruelty. Step 4. Build boundaries like walls that protect you. In a healthy home, walls don't trap you. They protect you from harm and create space for safety. Boundaries work the same way. Ask yourself, where do I feel drained, resentful, or taken advantage of? What specific requests or limits could protect my time, energy, and emotional space? Examples of self-worth boundaries: saying no without over-explaining, limiting contact with people who consistently disrespect you, scheduling rest days without guilt, ending conversations when they become toxic or disrespectful. When you first enforce boundaries, others might resist, especially if they benefited from your lack of them. But remember, protecting your peace is not selfish. It's survival. Step 5. Redecorate with worthy actions. Once the foundation and walls are in place, you get to decorate your life with habits and rituals that reflect your worth. These could include morning affirmations spoken aloud, regular journaling to check in with your emotions, movement or exercise you genuinely enjoy, choosing clothing that makes you feel comfortable and confident, spending time with people who uplift you. Every small choice is like adding a beautiful piece of furniture or art to your home. Over time, your interior will feel like a place you truly belong. Step 6. Remove the clutter of comparison. Clutter in a home makes it hard to move freely. Clutter in your mind, especially comparison, makes it hard to grow. Comparison is often rooted in false measuring sticks. When you scroll social media and think, she's so much prettier than me, or he's so much more successful, you are ignoring the unique blueprint of your own life. To remove this mental clutter, limit your exposure to environments that trigger comparison. Remind yourself, their success does not diminish mine. Shift focus to your own progress and milestones. You are building your home, not theirs. Step 7. Strengthen the structure with daily practices. Just as a house needs maintenance, your self-worth needs daily attention. Try incorporating these simple yet powerful habits. 1. Morning grounding. Take 5 minutes to breathe deeply and set an intention for the day. 2. Affirmation habit. Repeat one self-worth affirmation while looking in the mirror. 3. Gratitude check-in. Write down 3 things you appreciate about yourself before bed. 4. Compassion. Pause. When you make a mistake, pause and ask, if my best friend did this, what would I say to them? Then say it to yourself. Step 8. Repair. When you slip. Even the best-built homes need repairs from time to time. Storms happen. Life happens. In self-worth work, slipping into old habits is normal. What matters is not perfection, but repair. Notice when you are speaking harshly to yourself or allowing a boundary to be crossed. Pause without judgment. Return to your blueprint, your values, your boundaries, and your affirmations. The repair process reinforces your structure over time, making it even stronger. Step 9. Invite others into your new space. Once you've created a healthier inner home, you'll naturally attract relationships that feel supportive and safe. But it's also okay to be intentional about who you let in. Ask, do they respect my boundaries? Do they celebrate my growth instead of competing with it? Do I feel more myself after spending time with them? Relationships should enhance your home, not knock down its walls. Step 10. See yourself as the architect and the owner. The most empowering part of this blueprint is realizing you are both the architect and the owner. You are not waiting for someone else to build your worth or decorate your life. You are making the choices, setting the standards, and approving the plans. When challenges come, because they will, you'll know how to return to your blueprint and rebuild. Final reflection exercise. 1. Draw your self-worth blueprint. On paper, sketch a simple house. For foundation, list your top 5 values. For walls, list your key boundaries. For rooms, list your healthy habits and self-care practices. For decoration, list the relationships, activities, and goals that bring you joy. 2. Write your new self-worth statement. I am worthy of respect, love, and joy. My worth is not based on perfection or productivity, but on the truth of who I am. 3. Commit to daily maintenance. Spend 5 minutes each morning revisiting your blueprint and aligning your actions with it. You have already lived through the demolition. You've survived the storms. Now you are standing with the pen in your hand, ready to design something entirely your own. Your self-worth is not a fragile thing. It is a home you can always return to, a place that will grow with you, shelter you, and remind you you are enough exactly as you are. Chapter 9. Designing a future that honors your worth. By now, you've begun to see yourself differently. You've learned to question old stories, to set boundaries that protect your peace, and to nurture the parts of yourself that were once neglected. But healing is not only about repairing the past, it's also about creating a future that fully reflects who you are becoming. This chapter is about stepping into that next phase with intention, clarity, and self-respect. Think of it as laying the blueprint for the life you deserve, not the life you've been told you should want, but the one that truly honors your worth. 1. Let go of someday thinking. Many people live in the waiting room of life. They say, someday, I'll take that trip. Or someday, I'll start my business. Or someday, I'll focus on my health. But someday is not a date on the calendar. It's a vague promise to your future self that often gets pushed further and further away. When you value yourself, you stop postponing your dreams until everything is perfect. You recognize that perfection is an illusion and that action is what creates clarity, not endless preparation. Ask yourself right now, if I truly believed I was worthy, what would I stop delaying? What small step could I take today toward that dream? Even the smallest action, sending an email, signing up for a class, setting aside money for a trip, sends a signal to yourself. I am not waiting for permission to live my life. 2. Create a vision that feels like you. When you start designing your future, it's tempting to model it after what you see on social media or what others expect of you. But a future built on comparison is fragile. It won't nourish you. Instead, create a vision that reflects your unique values, not trends. Here is a simple exercise. Step 1. Write down the 3 most important feelings you want in your life, such as peace, excitement, connection, freedom, stability, adventure, or others. Step 2. For each feeling, brainstorm activities, places, people, and environments that give you that feeling. Step 3. Begin shaping your decisions so that they lead you toward these feelings more often. You might find that the life you truly want looks nothing like what's popular. And that's a good thing. Authentic futures are always original. Upgrade your environment. Your environment, the spaces you spend time in. The media you consume, the people you interact with, either supports your self-worth or erodes it. If your surroundings constantly remind you of past failures, keep you in survival mode, or expose you to negativity, it's going to be much harder to grow into your fullest self. Practical changes can be powerful. Declutter items tied to an old identity that no longer fits. Curate your social media so it inspires you instead of making you compare yourself. Spend more time in places that make you feel calm, creative, or energized. Remember, you rise to the level of the environment you create for yourself. 4. Build future goals that respect your capacity. Self-worth means knowing you can achieve amazing things. But it also means not pushing yourself to burnout to prove your value. When creating goals, choose timelines that are realistic. Not punishing. Allow room for rest and flexibility. Avoid attaching your worth to the speed of your progress. Your future should be something you walk into with energy, not something you crawl into, exhausted and resentful. 5. Make peace with change. As you heal, your preferences, priorities, and relationships will shift. This can feel unsettling, especially if you've built your identity around pleasing others. But change is the natural result of growth. Some people will not understand the new version of you, and that's okay. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into the future you are building. Release the pressure to explain yourself to everyone. Instead, keep returning to this truth. I am allowed to outgrow places, habits, and relationships that no longer align with my worth. 6. Practice future self-alignment. Your future self is not a stranger. She's you, but with the benefit of the choices you make today. When you feel stuck, ask, what would the version of me who has already healed choose in this moment? What would the version of me who feels deeply worthy say yes to? What would she say no to? This mental shift turns your goals into a daily practice of becoming. You stop chasing the future and start embodying it. 7. Protect your energy like currency. Your time and energy are the most valuable resources you have. Every yes you give is an investment, so invest wisely. Before committing to anything, ask, does this support my long-term vision? Does this nourish my self-worth? Am I doing this from alignment or from guilt, fear, or people-pleasing? When you treat your energy as precious, you attract opportunities, relationships, and environments that match that value. 8. Anchor into daily rituals. The future isn't built in giant leaps. It's shaped in the quiet moments of consistency. Daily rituals, no matter how small, keep you connected to yourself and your vision. Here are 4 examples. Morning journaling to set intentions. A 10-minute walk in silence to clear your mind. Speaking affirmations that reflect your worth. Ending the day with gratitude for progress, not perfection. These rituals keep you steady when life feels uncertain. 9. Release the old me guilt. When you start living in alignment with your worth, it's easy to look back and feel regret for all the time you wasted, living small, staying quiet, or making choices from fear. But that version of you was doing the best she could with the tools she had. She is the reason you are here now. Ready to create something better. Honor her, don't punish her. She survived, so you could thrive. 10. Step fully into ownership. The final piece of designing a future that honors your worth is taking radical ownership of your life. This doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that has happened. It means taking responsibility for everything you choose moving forward. Ownership sounds like, I take action instead of waiting for permission. I am capable of creating what I want. When you own your choices, you own your future. Designing a future from a place of self-worth is not about controlling every detail. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, you will not abandon yourself. It's about choosing, every day, to make decisions that honor your value, protect your peace, and lead you toward the life you actually want to live. So, take a deep breath. Picture the version of you who has already stepped into that life. She is confident. She is grounded. She is free. And she is waiting for you, not someday, but now. Chapter 10. Setting boundaries without guilt. Protecting your energy and self-worth. Boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are doors that you control, opening and closing them when it's healthy for you. A life without boundaries is a life without self-protection. And often, without peace. Too many of us say yes when we want to say no. But here is the truth: every time you fail to set a boundary, you teach the world that your needs matter less than theirs. And that's a dangerous message to keep sending. In this chapter, we'll explore why boundaries are essential to self-worth, how to set them clearly and compassionately, and how to deal with the guilt or pushback that might come when you start protecting your energy. Why boundaries are a reflection of your self-worth. If self-worth is your inner belief that you deserve respect, love, and care, then boundaries are how you put that belief into action. Without boundaries, self-worth can remain an idea in your head instead of a lived experience. When you set a boundary, you are making a powerful declaration. I matter. My feelings count. I am not here to be drained. The way people respond to your boundaries is not as important as the fact that you set them. Not everyone will celebrate your newfound assertiveness. Some may resist because your compliance served them. But in those moments, you must remember you are not responsible for someone's disappointment when you protect yourself. The cost of no boundaries living. Before we talk about building healthy boundaries, let's be honest about the cost of living without them. 1. Chronic resentment. You start resenting people for asking too much. But you've trained them to believe it's okay because you never say no. 2. Emotional exhaustion. Constantly giving without replenishing leads to burnout, irritability, and even physical illness. 3. Loss of self-identity. When you say yes to everyone else's needs, you forget what your own are. 4. Toxic relationships. People who exploit others thrive in no-boundary environments. If you've been living in a way that pleases everyone except yourself, the fatigue you feel is not just from being busy. It's from self-abandonment. The mindset shift. Boundaries are not mean. One of the biggest obstacles to setting boundaries is guilt. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that saying no is selfish or rude. Especially for women, the cultural expectation to be agreeable, nurturing, and accommodating can run deep. But boundaries are not about shutting people out. They're about keeping your energy safe enough so you can show up as your best self. For the people and commitments that truly matter, think of it like this. A phone can't run without charging. A car can't drive without gas, and you can't give your best without conserving your energy. Boundaries are the charger and the fuel that keep you going. Signs you need to strengthen your boundaries. You might need stronger boundaries if you often say yes out of obligation, not desire. You feel anxious before certain interactions because you know they will drain you. You replay conversations in your head, wishing you had spoken up. You avoid people because you feel trapped in their demands. You feel guilty for resting or prioritizing yourself. The discomfort you feel in these situations is your intuition whispering. Something is off here. That whisper gets louder the more you ignore it. 5 types of boundaries you can set. Boundaries can exist in many areas of life, and identifying them helps you know where you need reinforcement. 1. Emotional boundaries. Protecting your feelings and emotional space. Example: I am not comfortable discussing this topic right now. 2. Time boundaries, respecting your time and commitments. Example: I only take calls between 6 to 8 at night. 3. Physical boundaries, guarding your personal space and comfort. Example: please don't touch my things without asking. 4. Mental boundaries. Maintaining your own beliefs and opinions. Example: I understand your view, but I see it differently. 5. Material boundaries. Protecting your possessions and finances. Example: I don't lend money to friends. Here are 5 practical steps to setting boundaries. Step 1. Get clear on your limits. Before you can set boundaries, you need to know what's non-negotiable for you. Reflect on moments you felt drained, resentful, or taken advantage of. These are clues to where your limits are being crossed. Ask yourself, what behaviors do I find unacceptable? What situations leave me feeling resentful? What do I need more of to feel safe and respected? Step 2. Communicate directly. Boundaries don't have to be aggressive to be effective. Clarity is kindness. Vague hints lead to confusion. Use calm, straightforward language. Instead of maybe, I can help, but I am really busy. Say, I can't help with that right now. You don't need to over-explain or justify your no. A simple statement is enough. Step 3. Anticipate resistance. Some people will test your boundaries, especially if they've benefited from you having none. They might guilt-trip you. I thought you were my friend. Play the victim. Now I don't have anyone to help me. Become defensive. You are being difficult. Remember, pushback doesn't mean you are wrong. It means the dynamic is changing, and that's exactly the point. Step 4. Practice self-validation. When guilt creeps in, remind yourself. I am allowed to take care of myself. My needs are valid. This is not selfish. This is self-respect. Step 5. Be consistent. Boundaries lose power if you set them once and then abandon them. Consistency is how people learn you mean what you say. Dealing with guilt. Guilt is the emotional residue of people-pleasing. It shows up not because you've done something wrong, but because you've done something different from your usual pattern. To reframe guilt, view it as a sign of growth, not a signal to stop. Remember that every no to someone else is a yes to your own well-being. Replace, I am letting them down with, I am showing them how to treat me. Over time, guilt will fade and be replaced by peace, the peace that comes from living in alignment with your needs. When boundaries end relationships. It's an uncomfortable reality. Setting boundaries might reveal that some relationships were built on your compliance, not genuine respect. When you stop overgiving, those relationships may fade. This isn't a loss, it's clarity. It's better to have fewer authentic connections than a crowd of people who only value you when you are convenient. The right people will respect your boundaries. They may not always agree with them, but they'll honor them because they honor you. Boundaries and self-worth are built together. The more you set boundaries, the more your self-worth grows, and the more your self-worth grows, the easier it becomes to set boundaries. It's a reinforcing cycle. 1. You protect your energy. 2. You feel safer and more confident. 3. You stop tolerating disrespect. 4. You attract relationships that feel mutual and nourishing. Boundaries are not a one-time event. They are a lifelong practice. Life will present new situations and new people, each giving you a chance to reaffirm your worth. Here are a few journal prompts for this chapter. If you want to deepen your practice, spend time with these questions. 1. Where in my life do I feel most drained? And what boundary could help? 2. What am I afraid will happen if I say no? 3. Who in my life respects my boundaries? And how does that relationship feel? 4. What would my life look like if I honored my needs without guilt? 5. How can I remind myself daily that boundaries are self-love in action? Affirmations for healthy boundaries. My needs are just as important as anyone else's. I am not responsible for how others feel about my boundaries. Saying no protects my peace. I attract people who respect my space, time, and energy. Every boundary I set is an act of self-love. Boundaries are not selfish, unkind, or rigid. They are the invisible lines that protect your emotional home, the sacred space where your self-worth lives. When you start setting them, you may feel wobbly at first. Like a baby deer finding its legs. You may question yourself, wonder if you are being too harsh, or feel that pang of guilt that makes you want to soften the edges. But over time, you will notice something. You are calmer, your relationships feel cleaner, and you have more energy for the things that truly matter. And perhaps most importantly, you will notice that you feel safer in your own life. Because when you protect your boundaries, you are not pushing the world away. You are simply saying, this is where I end, and the world begins, and I am worth protecting. Chapter 11. The power of self-parenting and how it transforms your self-worth. When we think about parenting, we usually picture raising a child, feeding them, teaching them, protecting them, and loving them. But there is another form of parenting that most people overlook. Self-parenting. This is the act of caring for yourself in the same attentive, supportive, and nurturing way a healthy parent would care for their child. Self-parenting is not about being selfish or indulging every whim. It's about becoming the loving, responsible authority in your own life. The person who protects your boundaries, ensures your needs are met, and guides you toward a life that honors your worth. When you consistently practice self-parenting, your self-worth naturally rises, because you are sending yourself the undeniable message. I matter. My needs matter. My feelings matter. Why self-parenting is essential for self-worth. Many of us were not raised in environments where our emotional needs were fully met. Even if we had parents who did their best, there may have been moments where we felt unseen, unheard, or unsupported. These gaps in care often leave us with an inner child who still longs for love, reassurance, or guidance. Without realizing it, we might search for that missing parental love in other people, romantic partners, friends, bosses, or even strangers on the internet. But this often leads to disappointment, because no one else can fill that gap consistently. Self-parenting shifts the responsibility back to where it belongs. In your hands. When you give yourself the love, guidance, and protection you've always needed, you stop looking outside for validation. You become your own source of worth. Signs you are not practicing self-parenting. Before you can begin, it helps to notice where self-parenting is missing in your life. You neglect your own needs in order to please others. You engage in self-criticism more than self-encouragement. You stay in unhealthy situations because you are afraid of upsetting others. You expect other people to rescue you emotionally. You ignore your physical needs, skipping meals, not sleeping enough, or avoiding self-care. Each of these is a sign that your inner child is still waiting for someone to show up for them. That someone needs to be you. How to begin self-parenting. Think of self-parenting as developing two inner roles. 1. The loving nurturer who comforts, reassures, and encourages you. 2. The wise guide who sets healthy limits, makes responsible choices, and protects you from harm. Here is how you can start. 1. Meet your basic needs without guilt. A good parent doesn't skip feeding their child because they're too busy. In the same way, you must honor your own needs. For rest, nutrition, hydration, and movement. Keep regular meal times. Get adequate sleep. Even if it means saying no to late-night commitments. Move your body daily, not as punishment, but as care. When you consistently meet your needs, you tell yourself, I am worthy of care. 2. Talk to yourself with encouragement. If a child was struggling, a loving parent wouldn't say, you are so stupid for messing that up. They'd say, it's okay, you are learning. You can try again. Self-parenting means replacing your inner critic with an inner cheerleader. Speak kindly to yourself in moments of stress. Replace I am such a failure with, I am doing my best. And that's enough. Write affirmations that feel like they're coming from a deeply loving guardian. 3. Protect your boundaries. One of a parent's main jobs is to keep a child safe. For you, that means protecting yourself from toxic people, overcommitment, and self-destructive habits. Learn to say no without over-explaining. Limit time with people who drain you. Remove yourself from environments that consistently harm your well-being. Boundaries are not walls, they're gates that you control. By setting them, you show yourself you are worth protecting. 4. Give yourself permission to play. Healthy parenting includes joy, fun, and creativity. Many adults forget that they still need play. Take time for hobbies. Listen to music that makes you dance. Try something silly without worrying about looking childish. When you play, you remind yourself that life is not only about responsibility, it's about enjoyment too. 5. Offer yourself comfort in tough times. If a child had a bad day, a good parent would offer them comfort. Maybe a hug, warm words, or a calm presence. You can do the same for yourself. Wrap yourself in a blanket and watch a favorite movie. Journal your feelings without judgment. Place your hand over your heart and breathe slowly until you feel grounded. This is self-soothing, and it's an act of love. The link between self-parenting and self-worth. Self-worth grows when you consistently prove to yourself that you matter. Not because you achieved something or earned approval, but because you exist. When you self-parent, you stop tolerating poor treatment from others. Because you treat yourself better. You stop chasing validation, because you give it to yourself daily. You feel safer taking risks because you know you will support yourself no matter what. The result is a deep, unshakable sense of worth that no one else can take away. Healing the inner child through self-parenting. The inner child is the part of you that still holds your earliest memories, feelings, and unmet needs. If you were criticized, ignored, or pressured as a child, that part of you may still be holding pain. Self-parenting is the way you heal that child. Try this exercise. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as a child. 2. See your facial expression, your posture, your energy. 3. Ask what you need from yourself right now. 4. Listen without judgment and promise to give yourself that care. When you consistently show up for your inner child, you rewrite the messages you received growing up. Instead of "I am not enough" or "I have to earn love," your inner child learns, "I am loved as I am." Daily self-parenting rituals. You can make self-parenting part of your daily routine by these 4 rituals. Morning check-in. Ask yourself, what do I need to feel cared for today? Midday break. Pause to stretch, hydrate, and check in with your emotions. Evening reflection. Review your day with compassion. Celebrating small wins. Weekly self-date. Take yourself out for coffee, a walk in nature, or something that brings joy. These rituals may seem small, but over time they create a foundation of consistent self-love. The long-term benefits. When you practice self-parenting regularly, the benefits ripple into every part of your life. Relationships improve because you no longer accept disrespect or neglect. Confidence grows because you trust yourself to handle challenges. Stress decreases because you have built-in ways to soothe and support yourself. Goals become achievable because you guide yourself with both discipline and compassion. Self-parenting is not about replacing the love you may wish you had from others. It's about giving yourself what you need now so you can thrive. When you take responsibility for your own emotional care, you become unshakable. You no longer live at the mercy of someone else's approval, attention, or affection. You know that no matter what happens, you will always have you. And when that becomes your reality, your self-worth stops being fragile. It becomes the strongest part of you. Chapter 12. Stop outsourcing your worth. Build validation from the inside. For years, you may have measured your value by how others react to you. Likes, compliments, approvals, promotions, invitations, the tone of a text, the length of a reply. It's quiet work, a slow contract you made with the world. If they show up, I'll feel okay. But the problem is obvious. Other people's attention is unpredictable, conditional, and often shaped by their own fears. When you outsource your worth, you give your power away, little by little. This chapter is about reclaiming that power. It is a practical, honest guide to stop depending on outside signals for your sense of value, and to begin generating steady, reliable validation from inside. The only kind that lasts. Why you outsource your worth. First, understand how this pattern formed. It didn't appear out of nowhere. Maybe you grew up in a home where love felt conditional. Praise came for achievement, not for being. Maybe you learned that being liked kept you safe, so you adapted to keep approval coming. Maybe rejection taught you that your value is fragile, so you monitor others for cues. None of that is your fault. It's a learned strategy. The kinder work is to notice it, dismantle it, and replace it with practices that prove repeatedly that you are enough regardless of someone else's response. What internal validation actually looks like. Internal validation is not arrogance. It's not pretending everything's perfect. It's a grounded practice that says, I see myself. You acknowledge your efforts, feelings, and needs without waiting for outside recognition. I stand by my choices. You don't need a crowd to confirm your direction. I can survive being misunderstood. You accept that not everyone will get you and you are still whole. You generate this by creating an internal feedback loop that is intentional, honest, and consistent. A clear 5-step practice to stop outsourcing your worth. Use this as your daily scaffold. Do it for 30 days and you'll notice the wiring change. Step 1. Track the trigger. For 3 days, notice every time you search for approval from social media, inbox, feedback, or compliments. Write down. What you did, posted, asked, waited. What feeling drove you? Fear, insecurity, loneliness, pride. What you hope to get. Awareness removes mystery. You can only change what you see. Step 2. Name the need. Every approval chase disguises a need. Translate the behavior into a human need, wanting to belong. Need for connection. Wanting praise, need for recognition. Wanting forgiveness, need for safety. Write a short sentence. I sought X because I needed Y. When you name it, it becomes manageable. Step 3. Self-validate in the moment. Create a quick ritual to self-validate before you check the response. Before you refresh the page or read the message, pause and say, I did the thing. I showed up. That action is enough evidence that I am trying. Or use a short script. I see my effort. I am proud of myself. This interrupts the reflex to outsource and anchors you to your internal applause. Step 4. Build a bank of evidence. Weekly, collect 3 to 5 wins, no matter how small. Write them in your journal. You spoke up in a meeting. You rested when you needed rest. You told the truth to a friend. You paid a bill on time. When you feel shaky, review this bank. It's physical proof you can offer yourself when external proof is absent. Step 5. Rehearse healthy responses. Practice short, neutral responses to common external situations that used to trigger you. For example, when praise comes. Thank you, that felt meaningful. Then internalize it. I also value my work. When criticism comes, I hear that. I'll consider what's useful and set aside what's not. When someone is slow to respond, their timing isn't a mirror of my worth. Scripts create distance between event and identity. Tools to build internal validation. Daily habits. Here are practical tools to weave into your day-to-day. Mirror acknowledgement. 2 minutes. Look in the mirror and say one specific, kind thing. I handled that hard conversation well. Or I made space for rest when I could have pushed. This is not vanity. It's training your nervous system to give you the feedback you crave. Micro-acknowledgements. Throughout the day, when you complete a task, pause and tell yourself the outcome. I finished the proposal. Or I took my walk. Keep your tone like a coach, not a judge. The Journal of Enough. Nightly, write 3 ways you were enough today. Avoid, if only qualifiers. Keep it purely factual. Anchor mantras. Short statements you can repeat. I am already enough. My worth isn't for sale. I belong to myself. Boundary practice. Every time you say no, notice how your body responds. Acknowledge it, that felt uncomfortable and necessary. Boundaries teach the body you are a priority. Reframing failure and rejection. One of the main reasons we hunt external validation is fear of failure. So, let's change the lens. Failure equals data, not destiny. Rejection equals mismatch, not lack. When something doesn't land the way you wished, ask, what did I learn? And what can I afford to try next? This turns shame into curriculum. When you slip, a repair ritual. Slip-ups will happen. Old habits are tenacious. Have a short repair ritual ready. 1. Name it. I looked for approval. 2. Validate self. It makes sense I wanted to be seen. 3. Reframe the lesson. Next time I'll pause and self-validate first. 4. Small restorative step. Add 1 win to your bank of evidence or do your mirror acknowledgement. Repair is crucial. It teaches you to return without self-condemnation. How to stop using people as your worth meter. This is the daily work of rewiring relationships. Limit the verification loop. If you find you constantly ask specific people to affirm you, make a plan to rely less on them for that role. Tell yourself, I'll ask you for feedback when I am ready. Not to decide my value. Diversify your feedback. Get perspectives from more than one source. Mentor, peer, coach. But weigh them against your values and evidence bank. Choose safer testing grounds. Practice vulnerability with people who have shown consistent respect. Use them to calibrate, not to define you. Don't outsource happiness, cultivate pleasures and comfort. such as music, movement, creativity, and nature. Scripts to use when you feel the pull. Have these lines ready so you don't spiral into seeking outside approval. When you want praise for a decision, I made the choice that felt right for me. When you crave a compliment after sharing, I am proud I shared. That's enough. When someone withdraws and you panic, their response is about them, not my worth. When you apologize to get acceptance, I apologized for my part. I don't have to fix everyone's discomfort. Short, neutral factual statements, steady your nervous system and reclaim the narrative. Cultivate an internal care team. You don't have to do this alone. Build an internal care team, a set of parts within you that play helpful roles. The kind parent comforts and forgives. The wise guide offers perspective and direction. The quiet witness observes without judgment. The practical friend does the next small practical thing to move forward. Call on them as you would call on real friends. Ask, which part of me needs care right now? And respond accordingly. Measure progress differently. Use new metrics that reflect internal health, not external metrics. How many times did you self-validate this week? How often did you wait 24 hours before reacting to a message? How many times did you honor a boundary? How many small risks did you take without checking for approval? Track these. They matter more than likes or praise. Final practices. A 7-day mini protocol to recenter your worth. Day 1. Create your bank of evidence. 5 wins. Day 2. Do mirror acknowledgement morning and night. Day 3. Notice every approval, seeking behavior and log it. Day 4. Practice one boundary and note how it felt. Day 5. Do the repair ritual after any approval-seeking slip. Day 6. Say thank you and self. Validate before reading replies. Day 7. Reflect. Replace 3 external measures of worth with internal ones. Outsourcing your worth was a protective strategy once. Now it's time to graduate from that contract and write a new one with yourself. I will notice my needs. I will validate my effort first. I will protect my energy. I will repair kindly when I slip. This is not a quick fix. It's steady cultivation. The more you practice, the less shaken you'll be by how others respond. The more you build your inner bank of evidence, the less you'll trade your peace for a momentary nod. You have everything you need to become your own reliable source of worth. Start small, keep your promises to yourself, and watch how your life reorganizes around that truth. Reclaiming your feminine power and self-worth. You have reached the final chapter. But your journey is just beginning. Over the pages of this book, you have explored your beliefs, your wounds, your strengths, and your vision for yourself. You have been invited to peel back layers that no longer serve you and to stand in the truth of who you are. Reclaiming your self-worth isn't about becoming someone new, it's about returning to the woman you were always meant to be before the world told you who you should be. Reclaiming your feminine power means trusting your intuition and letting it guide your decisions. Honoring your emotions as wisdom, not weaknesses. Allowing yourself to receive love, rest, support, and pleasure without guilt. Leading with both strength and softness, knowing they can coexist beautifully. This book has been a mirror, showing you the parts of yourself that have been waiting to be acknowledged and loved. Self-worth is not built in a single moment. It's cultivated through the daily choice to treat yourself with dignity, respect, and compassion. You deserve a life where you feel safe to express yourself fully, where your needs are met, and where you feel at home in your own skin. So today, and every day forward, I invite you to rise in your power. Reclaim your voice. Protect your boundaries. Speak to yourself like someone worth loving, because you are. And when doubt creeps in, remember, you are not broken. You are not too much. You are not less than. You are a whole, radiant, and worthy woman. Welcome home to yourself. Thank you for being here, for choosing this moment, and for choosing yourself. If this audiobook inspired you, helped you grow, or simply made you feel seen, please subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue sharing empowering stories and wisdom made just for you. Until next time.